There we go. We're recording. Let me share with you. So, if you've gone out and looked, we have the commands and commandlets. Now, remember when we talked commands and commandlets were different things, but there was a little bit of a confusion on what I was talking about with the navigation commands. So remember, commandlets are the ones that have like the verb, noun, set, dash, and then a noun. That's what the commandlets 2 through 6 are talking about. With the navigation commands, they are talking about, let me share my PowerShell with you. Do you remember these, the basic navigation commands? They are on the first slide of the, well, I guess technically it's the second slide, the PowerShell Basics 2 PowerPoint, and that is out there for you guys to see. So let me show you where that is located in case you need some help with that. So when you go to course documents, remember how everything is broken out by which programming language we're talking about. I also have a subfolder under PowerShell with our PowerPoints, and the one I just showed you is part 2, but there is some commands listed out in part 1 as well. So if you have any questions and you need a quick reference, they're on there. For the other ones, all I'm looking for, I don't want you to have to do like a whole PS1 or I don't want a Power script or a PowerShell script. I want just set dash whatever the command, the 2 examples are, get dash, and then examples, copy dash examples, clear dash. I want them just listed out in text and in a text file. That's it. Okay. This is just an example of I need you guys to go out, look at the material you have, and don't forget, you can go open up PowerShell that we installed, and you can go out and you can type those in, and you can go into help and get those too. There is also, hold on 1 second, I accidentally split the screen there. There's also that, do you remember the cheat sheet that's out there? There you go. There's the Comparitech cheat sheet. It has some stuff out there too. But what I did when I first started looking at this, I went out and I said, I want to learn how to do commandlet for set dash, or I would go out and type in basic PowerShell commandlets, and there are so many of them out there. So you can do that, or you can do the other thing that I really hope you guys will do, because we walked through it, is open up your PowerShell IC and look at it that way. So just that's just what I would like you guys to take a look at, and that's all it is for this week. So it mirrors what we did with the other classes. We're looking at commands and commandlets. Okay, so I'm going to hit stop share here. Are there any questions on that before I let Zach take it away? Yeah, it's the biggest, very funny, Steve. The biggest thing that I've seen is people trying to make it too hard. Remember that the first one is your chewing gum and walk type of assignments. So that's what this one is. Okay, it looks like we should be good. Zach, are you ready?
Ready.
All righty. Zach, take it away.
All right, so I'm just going to share my screen real quick.
Perfect.
All right, can everybody see that?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, so I'm just going to go over some basics of navigation and basic commands in PowerShell. So a lot of the basic navigation commands in PowerShell are very similar to that of bash under Linux. So you got things like change directory, so you can do cd, and then the same, like go into upper directory, you do a dot dot, so that's still the same. So if you do cd dot dot, go in one directory up, so now we're in C users, go back into our user folder, and then you got things like pwd, which will print your current directory. You can do make dir to make a new directory. Then you can do ls to list directory, or you can do dir, which is the command you'd use under command prompt. You can also do ls. So you can see the new directory I created there. You can do rm dir, remove that directory, and do dir this time. Directory that I created is gone. So there's two different ways you can clear the screen. So you could do cls like you use in command prompt. So all the commands that you can use in command prompt, you can use in PowerShell. So you can do cls to clear the screen, or you can just do clear. So those are the basic sort of navigation. And then I'll do some of the commandlets. So if you want to create like a new empty file, under Linux you would do touch and then the name of the file, but in PowerShell you just do new item like that, and then we'll just do like s.txt. Then it created an empty file there. If I do ls, you can see that file in the folder here. You can also do rm to remove a file. That's a new item. And if you want to see more details about a commandlet, you could do get help. So do get help, and then whatever commandlet you want to view. And then it'll print some arguments for the command. So it's basically like typing dot dash dash help under bash. So you could also do get help, and I think it's dash full. It'll print some more information about each argument under here. By the screen. Set location is another, basically a more like a longer way of typing cd. So you could do set location. CD, and now we're in the root drive. I'll go back into our user folder, and then test path is another command to basically see if a directory exists. So if I just type, for example, like documents, so I'll type something wrong, and it'll say false. Type the right name, it'll say true. So you can use that in your scripts, for example. And there's also get command. So if you type just get command, it'll list literally every single command you could possibly use under PowerShell. It'll take a little bit to print it all out. But you can also kind of search with that. So you could do get command and then dash name, and say you want just a list of commands, for example, that starts with get. And then you put an asterisk there. And then you can even specify the command type. So you can do command type cmdlet. Then it'll just print all of the commands that start with get. So you got get ACL, get alias, etc. And yeah, it's a good way to kind of find the name of the command you're wanting to use. Another useful one is invoke web requests. You can press tab and autocomplete for you, just like in Bash. And so this is kind of similar to wget under Linux. So you can do specify URL. So I got a URL here. Just type it out. There's this one. Okay.
Hey Zach, quick question.
Sure.
You can also run that as invoke web request and just enter an IP, correct?
I think so. I could try that real quick.
Okay. Just
And
idle curiosity.
okay. So I'm gonna type out file. Where's it going? Oh, weird. I have to scroll out. On this, I think you have to specify the actual like full name to download it. So I'll do. Oops. Stick it in the downloads folder. It's gonna grab. Oh, I think I misspelled Facebook downloads. Yes. Oops. There we go. There you can see it says writing web request. So if we go in our downloads folder, you can see it right there. That's one way to download a file. And you were asking if you can use invoke web request to on an IP address.
Yeah, he just wanted to know if you could do an IP address versus a full website string, I think.
What IP address should I do? I guess I could do.
You can always try the Google DNS. I think it's 88.
Oh yeah, yeah, good idea.
Oh, that's another good one, German. Let me go look up the IP for hack this site.
It looks like it's not really doing anything. Unable to connect to remote server. Although I think didn't Google start to
Oh,
deny
you're
ping
right. I think they
requests?
did denied direct requests. Yeah, you are correct. I think
Yeah,
because they didn't want people having direct requests to that.
to that address.
Let me go. I know there was that one that they used for hacking that had some IP addresses. So let me go see if I can find one for that for us to test.
Okay.
You can go ahead and look onto the next one if you want to.
Sure.
It'll take me
Yeah, we
just a
can
second.
come back to that. All right, so next one I'll do is we can do test net connection. So test net connection. I think that's just here. I'll check this out. And I'll just do like cwi.edu, and that will ping the address, and it'll give you some information. So you got your ping, into ping details there, and it'll show you the address of the site. And then also in testnet connection, you can do a trace route. So you can do trace, you can just do the standard trace RT command like you can in command prompt. If I do that, it'll do a trace route and it'll show you all the different hops. You can see it took 10 hops to get to cwi.edu. But there's also another way to use trace route with the testnet connection. So if you do test connection dash trace route, cwi.edu. And it does it much quicker. So you can see all the different IP addresses it goes through there. So it's another way to use trace routes, and it's quicker than the trace RT command. That's the PowerShell way to do that. And there's another command that has two different ways you could do it. So you got ipconfig / flush DNS. But instead of that, you can do clear DNS compliance cache. And that will do basically the same thing as doing ipconfig / flush DNS. There's that command. And next I'll do a function. So you can do functions in PowerShell as well. So I'm going to do a function that will check if a port is available on a site, and I'll just say if it can ping that port, it'll just return true, or it'll say port is open, and then if it's false, it'll say port is closed. So I'll just type here's where you can type variables as well. So you can set a variable ports. So I'll just do money symbol ports, and that'll create a new variable equals 2280. Those are the two ports I'll be using. The ports equals for each object. Brackets. Ports equals yes item. If that's connection cwi.edu port level. Yes, for some reason it's not scrolling. I have to keep zooming out. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me continue. Now it's scrolling down. For some reason. Or if it's because no, it's not showing right posts. For some reason it's not showing that. Oh, that's kind of weird.
Just can't win.
It's acting kind of funky. It's open. Post. Is closed. So let's see if this works on the first try. Might have missed something. Oh, I see something. Oh, great. Now I can't move up. I'll just copy it. I'm going to put it in a text document and make sure it's right, and then I'll just copy and paste it.
And Zach has demonstrated an excellent point there. Text documents are your friends. And I usually have multiple tabs open and do this too. So great idea.
I'll turn word wrap on and I'll zoom in. There we go. This will be easier. Let's see if I type this right. Ports equals for each object. Port equals PS items. Ports. Nation level quiet. My action silent. Yep, I missed the quote. That's all it was. There we go.
And that is also the fun of working with anything programming.
Yep. Never seems to work on the first try.
Commas and quote marks.
What? I just did this one yesterday and it worked, so I don't know what the heck. I typed it the same.
And that's always the
Oh.
fun of doing it live too, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I put equals instead of, it's supposed to be a, there we go.
It's supposed to be a pipe.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a pipe. I don't know why I typed equals. There we go. Now it should work. No? Maybe?
Type equals because equals is just two pipes horizontal.
Nice try. That's not how that works.
For some reason it's not working. Is it because I put word wrap? I have no idea why it's not.
You may have to clear exit and re-enter. I've had that happen with PowerShell sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
PowerShell's
once in a
kind of
while you have to shut it down and just reopen it, and then it's like, oh, you mean this?
Yeah. All right, Microsoft. See you.
At least you're getting an error message that'll tell you something now.
Can I validate?
Well, it underlined something it didn't like. Cannot validate argument on parameter.
Oh, I see what I did wrong. I typed the port instead of ports.
I think you missed one more. You have another port.
Another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Or another two. What the heck?
Dash ports. What am I saying here? Ports, quiet ports is open else. So you got this to work before and it's not.
Yeah, I got it to work yesterday. I typed it the same. Ports, port object. Port.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's one of those, you probably typed one little thing wrong, but now that you're every time I do a demonstration when I'm teaching, something has to go wrong. So don't feel bad.
I think I'll just move on and
Yeah, I found a couple of IP addresses for you from the Hack This site.
Did you? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll try that.
there's like they use like 4 of them. So if you want me to, I can just read them off one of them off to you and we can try it.
Sure. What was the command? Oh, invoke web request, right?
Yeah. And would that have to be inside quote marks for that one? Or just straight up IP address?
I could just try typing just the
Okay.
IP address.
Let's try this one. 137.174. I'm sorry, no one, just .74. My bad. .187.103.
Not established
Ooh.
trust relationship for SSL.
Well, that's probably because they have SSL open, but that's actually a good one because that'll let everyone here see what a trust relationship for SSL error looks like. My guess is now the other ones that they have are the same first 3 and then dot like 100, 101, 102, and 104. I don't know if you want to try another one, but my guess is you're gonna
100.
see, yeah, let's try 100. My guess is you're gonna see the same,
Yep.
error messages. Because we all know that site was created broken to break stuff. I think we have an example of one of the things that was broken.
Mhm.
So that's kind of cool that we can see that
Yeah.
there without invoke web request.
Yeah, nice choice of IP there.
Yeah. So we didn't get quite what we wanted, but we also got to see different security on there too. Okay, so on this ports one, did you copy the one that you did previously, perchance?
Yeah.
Ports. You could always do port without the S. I mean, that shouldn't matter, but as long as you have
It's
the
on my document here. I put port without the S, but that doesn't make sense because I'm trying to use that variable.
Did you
Oh wait, no, wait
did
a
you
minute. Yeah.
declare it?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be, I think that actually is supposed to be port. So let's see, ports float.
So is that first ports, is that supposed to be port or ports on the very first line before the for each object?
I got this from that video that you sent me.
Okay.
So
I'd
maybe
have
I
to
could just go
watch.
look at his.
I'd have to go
Uh,
rewatch that one to see what he
yeah,
did.
I'll try to
Yeah,
find what he did, and I'll come back to that later and see
but
where I messed up when
my
I'm
guess
doing
is
this
that
one.
he did port, not ports.
Yeah.
And he probably, if I remember correctly, you have to declare those values first, and then you,
Oh, I didn't declare that yet in this new because I opened a new one, right?
right, yeah. So
Oh,
you'll have to declare the value.
let me try this real quick. There we go. Now it's
There
working.
we go. Awesome.
So it was the PowerShell just kind of broke before for some reason.
Yeah, and then we
And then
just
I forgot to declare
we forgot to redeclare the ports.
yep,
Okay.
yep. Now it should say open and closed.
It'll take
Yeah,
just a
I did
second.
typo that variable.
There
There
you
we go. So
go.
now it says port 22 is closed. Why is it cut off there? Let me see. 20, it should say 22 is closed and then 80 is open. So
It's kind of got that tucked over the edge there. But yeah, we can see that there. You guys can all see that.
let me zoom back in.
That's good. Yeah,
There's
that's just my guess is it's probably a what do you call it? A Zoom and your monitor that are discussing things. Not your monitor, your video card. Go on. No. Go on.
okay. I moved the window to, I resized the window a little bit. I think it's showing now.
Ah, there. Yep. Now I can see it. Very nice.
Cool. So yeah, functions as long as you're typing things right and not making typos like I was.
And as long as you remember to declare after you open it.
Yeah, exactly. And declare the variables when you open
That's
a new
good though. I
window.
mean, that shows troubleshooting
Yep.
because, you know, I am positive that we will all run into this.
Yeah, definitely. So yep, there's functions, and then I'll move on to scheduling tasks. So under Windows, you got the task scheduler. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with this. You can create some new tasks to run certain times of the day, or week, or month. But you can also do that kind of stuff in PowerShell. So I'll just create a new schedule task using some variables. So I'll do trigger equals new scheduled. Keep autocomplete. New schedule test trigger and then at 3 p.m. And then we'll do an action. Scheduled task action. Execute, and we'll execute PowerShell. Arguments. Nice thing about autocomplete. So if you're it's like a long one, you can just don't make any spelling mistakes. Make sure you're not making any spelling mistakes. So that's kind of nice in PowerShell. You can do that. File. And then I'll just put it doesn't matter because I'm not actually gonna run the scheduled task, but I'll just do like scripts. That's .ps. Oh, I forgot a backtick. So in PowerShell, the escape character is a backtick instead of a backslash. So you do a backtick to do a literal quote. So you're trying to actually type quote here. Here, I have to zoom back out. I don't know why it's doing that with the word wrapping. It's kind of annoying. Another back to it, backtick a literal quote, and then finish the quote off. Make sure I'm typing this right. Action. What was the special task? Oh. Right. I'm glad I double checked that. Okay. Then set settings. Variable. Scheduled. Setting sets. And then we'll register the task. So do register. Register schedule task. Action, and then we'll set it to the variable that we did action. We'll do trigger to the variable that we created. Trigger. Task name. We'll just name it test. Description. Settings. There we go. Created a new task. And so we can test, we can check that that task exists in PowerShell using get scheduled task there, task name, task. Shows that there. So if you do scheduled task, you do just get scheduled tasks, it'll by itself, it'll show you all of your scheduled tasks here. And then you can also check that was created in task schedule or GUI. GUI. Right there, test task. And it's at 3 p.m. every day. You can delete it from here, or you can just do a unregister. Oops. Schedule task and then do the name, task name. Task. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna run, there's another one I wrote down here, scheduled task. And then you can pipe it to get scheduled task info, and it'll show you information about your task, so you can see when it was last run, the number of missed runs, and the path. You can do that, and then I'll go ahead and registered task. Then it'll ask you to confirm, so you can do yes. So now if you try to search for it, it doesn't exist. That's how to do scheduled tasks. And then you have scheduled jobs. So this, I guess this is more like a cron job. If you should be familiar with that under Linux. So this doing scheduled jobs, there's no GUI that like you have for task scheduler. So if I refresh this, that should be gone now. So scheduled jobs you're only going to be doing from PowerShell. But for this you need to you need a administrator window. So I'll do start process as another command that you can use. PowerShell -verb run as, and this will open a PowerShell window in administrator. Make a new administrator window. And then I'll do kind of a similar thing I did with test schedule tasks. You can do trigger equals new job trigger. Oops, forgot the hyphen. Job trigger. Daily at 3 p.m. And then script block equals, put a bracket and then the place where your script goes. Register. Oops. Autocomplete doesn't always work right. Jobs. Name. That's job. And put our variable script block. And there we go. Created a new job. So you can do get scheduled job. That's job there. And then to unregister, it's basically the same command, but with instead of unregistered scheduled jobs, to do unregistered. Schedule job. There we go. Job. So yeah, there's scheduled jobs, basically the same kind of thing. Instead of typing task, you're typing scheduled job. And then move on to do some process management. So you can do, so if you want to view processes, you can do get process. And doing that will list every process that's running on your system. It'll show you process name and some other information here. And then here you have your ID for your process, just like in Linux when you're using PS. So let me demonstrate something. So I'll open up a calculator. And for some reason that's massive. I don't know why. And let's do get process, and then you can search for a process. So you can do calc, then asterisk. And then I'll search for anything that starts with those letters. There you can see here, process name calculator. And then you can stop the process from here. So you can see the calculator is running. So let me do side by side so you can see here. You can see that window is still open. If you do get process calc, you can do that, or you could do the ID. So you could do get process calc stop process. So you're killing it by using your search term here. There you go. You can see calculator closed. So we'll open up calculator again, and let's do it by ID. So let's go up here, process calc. See the ID is 4504. I'll do the same thing. Get process, but instead of using the search name, you can do an ID, specify an ID. So I'll do 4504. And there it goes, kills the process. All right, so that's process management in PowerShell. You can also manage services. You can do get service. and then it'll show you every service that's running. If you scroll up here, you can see status. It'll either be stopped, running, the name of the service, the display name. If you do get service, you can also search, so you can do spool, do an asterisk. You can see I'm running the print spooler, and you can stop a service, spooler. If I do get service again, the search, it'll say stopped. If you want to start it up again, you just do instead of stop service, stop service, do start service. Spooler. And now I should be running again. Then you can also restart a service. You can do restart service. That's how you manage services in PowerShell. You can also view and create users in PowerShell. So you can get local user. And then it'll show you all the users in on your Windows system. And then from here, you can also create a new user. So you can do new local user, and then I'll just create a test user. Specify the password. You can just hit enter and it'll create a blank password. So if I do get local user again, you can see I created another user called test. But to remove that user, you just do remove user. You can also do groups. Name of the user. Now that user's gone. So one last thing I got here, event log. So this one's pretty useful. You can do get event log. And then you can specify the type of log. So we'll just do system. So if you do this, it'll show all of your system logs. But if you only want to see what happened the last couple events, you can do that. And then newest 5. That way it'll shorten it a little bit. So if you just want to look at the last few events that happened on your system, you can do newest 5 and it'll show you the last 5 here. So it'll show you the index, the time, the type, entry type, source, and then the ID, and then the message. So you can even write a log. So you could do write event log. So if you're making a script and you want to write a log, you can do that, and you can do log name, give it a name, system. So we'll use the system log, source, give it a source, event log. You can give it an ID, and space, event ID, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, entry type. I'll just do search, and then you can give it a message. So I'll just say my custom system. So now if you view the event log again, you should see the one I just created here. Instance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I think that's all I got. And I guess I'll hand it back to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Zach. That had a bunch of really good information, especially for those of you who might do any sort of network admin. I know that anything that does like the event logs. Do you mind if I stop your sharing right here?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll stop it.
Okay. So great job, Zach. Excellent. I highly suggest that you go back and look at some of these. There's some really good examples there for system management. Those jobs that he was showing there, if you create a PowerShell script and then you run it as a job, I've seen that for a bunch of different uses. So that's actually a pretty cool one. The starting, stopping, restarting services. I personally have done that a ton in the help desk and field whenever I've had to fix something. So that's really cool, just that he showed you how to do that within PowerShell too. So there's some really great stuff in there. Does anyone have any questions about the stuff that Zach just covered? Nope. Okay. So that's kind of what I wanted to go over for tonight. So thank you for guest lecturing for us tonight, Zach. So this is going to be sorry about that. We're going to end the lecture here, and then I will talk to everybody about homework. So Scott, we're going to be stopping the lecture portion here. Did you have any questions for us or Zach or anything while you're on?
No, thanks a lot. It was really nice seeing Zach doing that. It really helps out to be able to observe the tutors in their working environment.
Okay,
So-
glad we could help.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Zach.
We'll see you, Scott.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. See ya.
Okay.
Okay, great job, Zach. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here and we'll talk about homework.